There's going to be a change in the agenda because what we're going to have Maria Levy from Impactivo. She's an SBIR awardee, and she's going to share the experience through the process of writing the proposals, as well as the working with the trust. And she has a very interesting story. So Maria, like I said, she's the CEO and founder of Impactivo, a very successful company. And of course, woman-owned. Doesn't get any better than that. Maria.
Gracias, Juan. Buenas tardes. Miren, ayer yo estaba en una cena y viene esta persona que se mudó a Puerto Rico hace 2 años, Act 2020 Tour, y en menos de 10 minutos ya me estaba diciendo, ay, es que en Puerto Rico yo vine con mucho optimismo y no se puede hacer nada. Y le pregunto, ¿y qué tú estás haciendo? Y entonces, pues me dijo nada. Y les cuento esta historia porque mi vida es bien diferente. Yo veo cambio todo el tiempo. Yo veo gente haciendo cosas, yo veo cosas positivas. Y como, oh, in English, it's English, okay. So I'll start again really quick because I think it's an important story. So last night I was having dinner and I met this person who just moved to the island two years ago. And he starts telling me that he came here with a lot of optimism, and all of a sudden he noticed that, nothing can get done here. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, nothing. And that's why he gets to see no change, right? And I share this story because my life is very different. I see change all the time. And I see change all the time because I'm involved with people like Juan, with people like Wendy, with people like Valentina, who are constantly trying to figure out what we can do to make things better. And a lot of folks talk, right? And they complain. But entrepreneurs, we do, right? So that is what I hope we have here in the audience. Now, what I'll share with you is just, to get it over with, this isn't easy, right? It's hard, but I do promise it's worthwhile. There's nothing I'd rather spend my time doing than what I do. My job is not a job. I don't have a job. I am an entrepreneur, so I get to do what I want to do. And I found this amazing source of funding called the Small Business Innovation Research Fund. So we have submitted, so just so everyone knows, our first SBIR was denied. Our second SBIR was denied. Our third one got funded, but in order to get it funded, I participated in committees with the National Science Foundation and learned how they evaluate proposals. And once we got our first phase 1, we ran through it, and then we found the trust, right? And I was very, very happy to find trust about almost to the end of our phase 1, because the bridge funding that took us to our phase 2 was the trust's funding, right? That's the way it works. In Puerto Rico, I think we have the best environment in the nation to build SBIR grants and projects. And it is thanks to Juan. Their funding continues to be important, right? So we finished phase 1. Then we have to apply for phase 2, right? Note, if you go through the entire cycle of SBIR, you can get close to $2 million for your idea. $2 million of equity-free funding for your idea. And as Juan knows, I am not one to take anyone's money for equity, right? And I'll mention that over and over again. We're happy to do the hard work of getting grants. We're happy to do the difficult work of managing it. We're gonna scrounge, and we will not take anyone's money who's not 100% aligned with what we do. The only reason why we're able to do this well is because we work with people we like, right? So if you are talking to funders, if you are trying to get money and you do not like who you're working with, drop it. Money's not worth it. Because to do this, you have to be able to sustain it over years. And we've been doing this now so Impactivo is 13 years old, right? And just so you know, there is success. So after, we're almost at the end of our phase 2, what ended up happening was we learned so much about how to run a business through the National Science Foundation support, the trust support, and other organizations like EO and Grupo Guayacán, that we ended up getting a product out to market before our SBIR grant was done, because that's higher, more complicated technology. So I mentioned this to you because as of 2024, Impactivo will export more than it sells locally, right? And that's where we want to get to as companies who are vested in this. If there's one thing that you guys really need to hone into right now, wherever you are, it's why are you doing this? Like, why are you going to write this grant? Why are you going to do this project? If it's because you're an academic and you need to publish, that's not the reason. That's not going to take you very far. The reasons that are going to take you where people, and I keep on mentioning Wendy because Wendy and I have been doing this work for years, the reasons that are going to take you to the level of effort that you need to submit in this have to inspire you. So in my grant, right, our grant works with diabetic patients. And the way we do it is by enabling systems for patients and providers to be able to better manage their patients' care. And a lot of that is feedback. There's some machine learning in there, a lot of instructional design. And I get to sit with patients, right? I get to sit with patients every so often. Last time I did it was in Castañer about a month and a half ago. And I get to sit down with patients and talk to them about what will make their lives better. You bet I leave that with inspiration to keep on doing this work for as long as is necessary. So when Juan called this week to ask me to come and speak to you guys about the experience, I can't say no to Juan. Because that's it. Juan and his team and the work of the Trust have been instrumental. They're great at helping you through the process. The reason we have our SBIR is because of Valentina, who, what was it, 6 years ago, gave us a phase 0. So literally, she gave us a little bit of funding, which gave us a little bit of time to write our first grant, which was denied, as I told you. And I think I'll end with one thing, and it's never give up, right? So first 2 grants, denied. Our SBIR phase 2 was denied as well. And it was denied, and I say it openly, because it was written in Puerto Rico. Inside the reviews, there were multiple instances where, and the reviewers wrote it in the comments, they don't fund projects that are for Puerto Rico alone. Puerto Rico is too small, right? But our technology was never intended to be for Puerto Rico, and everywhere in the grant it said that it was intended for a national audience. But they saw a Puerto Rican team putting together a proposal in Puerto Rico for a company located in Puerto Rico, and they denied it. And I sent it to a couple of folks who were not related to Puerto Rico. So a professor in Boston University, I sent it to Juan, I sent it to a couple of people who could see it objectively because I was angry. Right after writing this proposal. I was like, okay, is it me or not? And their recommendation was to submit a rebuttal. And we submitted a rebuttal, and that's how our phase 2 grant got funded. So.
The first one that I've seen that it was changed in phase 2 from decline to funding. So it was quite an accomplishment for you.
Well, I think it also goes to what we need to do as Puerto Ricans. Since then, National Science Foundation has changed the way they do their proposal approval process. And I've participated as a reviewer. And now they're all, looking to make sure that it is really a blind, right? A blind review, that it doesn't discriminate against people. So it looks like it wasn't just we got the funding, but we were able to make some change in the way the agency does this. So if there are any questions, I am glad to share. The easiest way to contact me is just to write me via LinkedIn, Maria Levis. You can click, and I am happy to respond. I share proposals, I share our work, because I think it's important for other folks to do this. You heard me mention that as of 2024, Puerto Rico will no longer be our prime customer market. That is what we need to do, right? As an island, as a program. So when you are looking at your proposals, don't look at Puerto Rico as the market, but look at it as your community. We are currently doing research with Stanford, Harvard, Texas A&M, Columbia University, and it is because we can put together projects and proposals that they have no idea how to do it. Like, so we're doing a PROCORI grant right now, and this is a little off topic, but we bring together like the head of the health insurance company and the head of a hospital and a bunch of patients, and they're like, how do you do it? Well, because Puerto Rico's small, you know? So it's not difficult to do 10 calls and find the person that you need. That's our community, right? And we do need more folks to apply to these SBIR grants. I tell Juan all the time, es moliendo vidrio. We had to figure out our IP strategy by ourselves. We had to figure out commercialization by ourselves. And the more of us that are doing this, the more that we can share not just our lessons, but our resources to get more done. So, I don't know, Juan, that was, yep.
Valentina will do the closing, but this is a good example of a mentor network. It's really difficult sometimes to realize who else has been awarded, who else can help you, and probably you haven't heard of her, but she has so much knowledge, and they're all their awardees that please use them. Just go to them. Like she says, she's willing to support you, so take advantage of that.